Good evening, everybody. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. It's Monday night, which means it's time for Monday Night Raw. Big show. Big show tonight. In terms of laying up Money in the Bank. Because although we there's not much announced for the show. There's not much vibes going on. But realistically, we still sort of don't know what's happening championship-wise at Money in the Bank. And I low-key feel like that's why Logan Paul's coming back. Josh, good to see you, sir. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. So, to start the show, Seth Rollins is coming out. I've lost my coaster. There was a coaster on this place and it's now gone. Where have I put this coaster? Who knows? That's later's problem. Seth Rollins is coming out and Logan Paul is set to make his return. So I low-key think they might be setting up for a Seth Rollins Logan Paul championship match at Money in the Bank, which I don't know if I want. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Either way, we'll be here for the entire 3-hour-long show. All of Raw. The entire thing. Seth Rollins getting the big chance, obviously. It's a great theme, isn't it? I like the way they were asking the other day. They were asking about the idea of like... Or I think it might have been earlier actually on today. I saw people asking whether or not... asking him whether or not he thinks... Oh, he's attacked from behind Finn. Finn. Of course, Finn. Sorry, I completely forgot about Finn. Of course it'll be Finn. That makes perfect sense. Obviously it's Finn. Yeah, I was worried about... Okay, well, I don't know what Logan Paul's going to do, but... Finn Balor attacks Seth from behind, slams him over the table. Is this not working for some reason? Who knows? Hopefully it starts working. Oh, there we go. Completely forgot about Finn. Like, that whole thing just completely evacuated from my brain. Finn now just laying into Seth on the edge of the air. Outside the ring. Oh, F4. Ooh. Is it still really cheap? When I bought it, it was like £2. Is it still really cheap? But I bought it time ago. I bought it so long ago at this point. Finn being dragged off by the refs and security. Oh! It's Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan there being one of the people to push Finn back. I forgot he was working backstage. He spins through the security and a big coup de grace. Takes out Seth completely on the outside. Jumps off the ring. Coup de grace onto Seth. And the boos raid down on the Prince as he, going for a second. Another to Seth on the edge. Seth outside, laying down on the floor. Balor's hit 2 on him now. Boos raining down. He starts to orchestrate the crowd. Adam Pearce trying to push him back now. It's still for £2. There's a second one now on early access. What it is? I didn't know about this second one. I did think about doing another he's coming for a third. He hits a third coup de grace. This time as he gets near to the ramp, turns around, starts running off the ring steps. Yeah, I didn't know there was a second one. I did consider doing a video on it again because I never finished it. Even off camera, I never finished it. So I did consider going back in. And we go to our first ad break. I did consider going back for a second round on video. But I don't know if I was going to do it. I didn't know there was a second one. I need to go and have a look now. What an insane game that is. I completely forgot about Balor. It makes perfect sense. And I just completely forgot that Balor could challenge for it. There is F4 too. When did that come out? It came out recently. It came out at the end of March. Oh my god, you're on a bike in part of it. I'm tempted to buy it, I can't lie. I'm tempted to buy it, I can't lie. Makes sense as well with Balor. I don't know why I forgot, because it makes perfect sense. And even the way they set it up, I'm looking for this coaster now. Even the way they set it up was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Of course you would go with Balor, like what he was saying about the injury when he was the original Universal Champion and all that stuff. Got no idea. It makes perfect sense that they would go for Finn Balor, especially going to London. But yeah, it just rolled away from my brain somehow. I don't know how. Just did. Hot start to the show though. Just a straight demolition of Seth. You hate to see it. And I mean, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I'm interested to see them what that means with Logan, because like in my head, I think because I was just so, I don't know why I was so convinced Logan and Seth were a thing at some point. Maybe they are setting up for it further down the line, but like I don't know why I was so obsessed with it, but it makes sense. But so I wonder what the hell he's going to be doing, because he's not gonna. There's no real other. I mean, should he even go for any championships at all? It's a different question, but I guess you could put him in the. I mean, it looks like they're building to Matt Riddle versus Gunther, right? That's what they're doing there, and that's probably, again, you can imagine that being at Money in the Bank, actually. A Riddle-Gunther match in the UK makes perfect sense. You could see that happening. Logan doesn't really have any tag partners. Is there any sort of marquee people that are just sort of about? I guess that's what it would be. Well, I guess we'll find out. He's going to come out, he's going to say something, and then someone will interrupt him, or it'll be the other way around. So we'll find out, I guess, later on in the show. I'm probably going to forget Alt F4 2 at the end of the month. I need that sort of game. But I do love it. I can't lie. As much as it is just like smashing your head into a brick wall, I do love it. I do genuinely love it. And I've played the first one a lot. Let me have a look what the hours are. Like I said, I never finished it, but I played it off camera. So I'm interested to see, actually, what does Steam say my time's at? So I've played hours of it. I've played 5 hours of it. I came close at one point to near the end. I don't know, is there a second level in the first one, or is it just that one level? And I know they've updated it since then, so I'm probably completely lost. If I was to go back on it, I'd be completely lost. I don't know. But I quite like the idea of just going for a second one. Should probably finish the first. I should probably make some sort of effort to try and finish the first, though. To be fair, whether or not that works is a different story. Back from the ad break, we see Seth Rollins, who's been attacked by Finn. 3 coup de grace on the outside, 2 off the ring steps, 1 off the announce table, just non-stop. How is Finn in his 40s, by the way? Like, you look at him and you're like, how is this man in his 40s? Good to see you, Sheamus. Hope you're well, sir. Hope you're having a good day. Money in the Bank might be on regular BT Sport. That's a major thumbs up if that's... Really? Ooh, that's pretty good if that happens. I don't know, Really? Is that true? I didn't know that. I mean, I know Nick Khan's sort of spoken about the idea of potentially bringing back pay-per-view, and the move away from the network, and obviously in America they're on Peacock and stuff, and I know there's sort of been ideas of moving away from it, especially with Endeavour. Or we cut to the backstage and Seth, who's struggling back, is now getting absolutely attacked by Finn once again. He trips over a table in a very awkward way. And Finn backstage is just going to town on Seth, head straight into... Oh, bloody hell. Head straight into a flight cabinet. A flight case. Finn, with his foot over the throat of Rollins, says, 7 years I've been waiting for this. And at Money in the Bank, it's coming home with me. And he leaves Seth on the floor. Wild. Yeah, I know that Nick Khan has spoken about the idea of, like, going back to a traditional pay-per-view structure. Although if it's just for free on BT Sport. When's the UK deal up? Do you know? I don't know either. I don't know. Can I say whoa? Oh, as in Seth ways, as in oh, whoa, or like a Ibiza, like a whoa. WrestleMania. That's not Ibiza. That's the WrestleMania one. You know what I mean? I could do many. Different ones. Miz is on the mic in the ring. Says he was gonna accept Seth's open challenge. and going to become the World Heavyweight Champion. He says he's worshipped as a god in this depressive hellhole. He says the people of Cleveland can't see him become champion, so now he's giving his own open challenge. Logan and Miz have history. Sheamus, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen at Money in the Bank with Logan? Or what do you think Logan Paul's coming back to do? Ooh, Ciampa! Ciampa's back! Ciampa versus Miz. Okay, I'll take that. It's not going to end well for Miz. We know how that works. But Ciampa comes out. Ooh, Tommaso Ciampa. That's a vibe. That's a vibe. They did that for Clash at the Castle, so it could happen. And it's either the last PPV or second last PPV under the BT Sport name. That's a good point, yeah, because it changes at some point. Where's my bag? Oh, my bag's in the other room. I have a letter in there about the pay-per-view, about BT Sport changing. Ciampa just straight away walks up to Miz and just plaps him in the face. That's a good point, actually, to be fair. I didn't even think about a name change. And Ciampa asks for the bell to ring. It rings, and Ciampa straight away go into the ring. Miz curled up in the corner getting booted upon. Big swing and a miss from Miz. Ciampa blocks, lays one back. They're outside the ring now again, straight away to the announcer's table once more. Show's been on for 13 minutes. We've seen two separate incidents with the announcer's table already. Ciampa looked like he's potentially setting up the top of the announcer's table for maybe a backdrop. Oh, big backdrop through there. Ciampa sits on the announce table, does the classic clap, pat at the back. He turns, he shouts at the announcers, not one text message, nothing. Clearly annoyed at The Miz for not getting involved with him. Ciampa goes flying towards the corner. Miz, big clothesline. Once more, off the ropes, looking for a third. Duck under Miz's. Big jumping clothesline for the third. Ciampa is running all over The Miz right now. And there goes the knee pad. Looking for that knee. Good. Good. Go reversal from Miz. Hits that quick low drop DDT. I'm like 30 seconds ahead. See, this is the thing, is I watch BT Sport legally, but as I say on the watch-alongs for the football, they just, for some reason, when you watch it online, because I watch it on my computer, because I don't have it set up to a television in a way that I can watch it properly. For some reason, it just is slow and behind, and I don't understand why, because it's not even like I'm watching it illegally. I pay for BT Sport. Miz lifts up Ciampa by the beard. He's shouting at him. Ciampa flicks him off. Couple of chops to the chest. Ducks a clothesline. Oh, nice big boot from the Miz. Thank you, you're cool. Well, thank you, Sheamus. That's very kind of you to say. I could disagree with you strongly, but I'll take the compliment. I'll take the compliment, sir. Miz smothering Ciampa in the ropes now. Oh, it's a nice big boot for the Miz, to be fair. A really nice big boot. Sometimes BT Sport have this thing on their website where you can watch an enhanced version, they say. as they word it, and then you can sort of, it's slightly ahead. I did that for the final of the Europa League conference, but it doesn't have it on the page right now for some reason. I'll refresh during the ad break and see if I can get any further forward. Ciampa fighting back against Miz now. It's more 50-50 than I was expecting it to be, if I'm being honest. The initial burst from Ciampa where he was just all over the Miz is slowed down now. The Miz fighting back into being in control. Nice jumping clothesline to the corner. Not that Miz is a bad wrestler and you would expect him to be run over by Ciampa, but you think a returning Ciampa maybe just gets an easy win into a feud against the Miz would have made sense, but we're getting a very 50-50 thing right now. Miz going up to the top rope. Oh, flipping heck. Flipping it. We're going to need to see a replay of that from a slightly better angle, but a jumping knee strike from the top from Ciampa. Double underhook. Lays him down. 1, 2, 3, and there's the end. Really nice. Miz going for like a sort of what looked like a double axe handle off the top, and Ciampa just jumps up and knees him in the chin. What it looked like. Again, I'm going to need to see the replay from a slightly better camera angle because the camera work was a bit all over the shop. And then finishes off. Now Ciampa is jacked, isn't he? We're seeing it here from a reverse angle. Miz jumps off looking for the double axe handle, and Ciampa with like, oh, that was sick. That was sick. That was sick. He sort of jumps up and hits like a Decanio-style bicycle kick with a knee falling down to his back as he does it. It looks sick. It looks sick. I'm a good WWE streamer. I'll take that, James. I'll take that. Again, I could disagree with you, but I'll take the compliment. Broadcast can't figure out latency in the internet with sport. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? I think if in a situation in which like even the government are going on about the idea of like piracy and not wanting people to be able to watch illegal streams of football and things like that. When there's this much latency, there's no wonder people don't pay for it, right? Promo in the rest of the show. Logan Paul to come out. Qualifying match between Raquel Rodriguez and Trish Stratus tonight as well for Money in the Bank. I wonder if there's anything else. Looks like up next we're going to get a replay of the Jey Uso moment from SmackDown last week. Remember like 5 years ago, whenever it was. Ooh. I remember like SmackDown, it was 5 years. It was before the Fox deal where it would just be like a replay of Raw a lot of the time. And now we just get it the other way around. It's great. And by great, I mean. But yeah, I did notice there wasn't a load of things announced for tonight, so I'm wondering what else there could be. The Judgment Day are coming out in their entirety now. All 4 of them have mics. Finn looking angry, looking annoyed. They're getting more Finn. Finn alongside Damo, Dom, and of course Rhea, Women's World Champion, with that white version of the Seth belt. At least Guy got beat at jury for Prem Games. A very good. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Okay, we're going to an ad break now. Let's see if I can find that enhanced version that they usually let me watch. Yeah, there you go. There's an enhanced video. Now I've refreshed it. That should be slightly further ahead. Ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. But yeah, it's really annoying given the fact that we live in a world where flipping. Hang on, I am here. I'm just grabbing something else out of the room. Given we live in a world where they're so against people watching it illegally, which is understandable. Like it's not something they would love. People being able to watch football or wrestling or whatever it might be, BT Sport and Sky Sports illegally. The fact that I pay for it and it's still so far behind is kind of mad to me. It's kind of mad. But then again, I would never usually pay for it unless WWE and West Ham in Europe are both on BT Sport. So it's like I can watch both from the one payment, so then I do it. Otherwise, I'd never usually have it, to be fair. There is. Just realised my phone was going off throughout that entire segment. There we go. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens for the rest of the show, because like I say, they didn't have like a whole bunch announced. I know we've got Logan Paul to come. We've got Logan Paul to come. We've got the Trish Stratus match to come against Raquel Rodriguez, which should be alright. We've got it didn't say it on the website, but I did see on the YouTube channel earlier. I think they announced Bronson Reed versus Shinsuke Nakamura. But outside of that, it's not really much else going on. I can't think. I feel like there was one other random match, but I don't remember what it was. So I'd be interested to see what else is actually going to happen. The Leafs just need to create a Netflix for football type deal. So much potential there, but basically. I mean, it's interesting because I would have suspected they would have done it if they hadn't already. But then obviously in the last year, we've seen situations in which Netflix have said they've been losing subscribers, and maybe WWE moving away from their network style service with Peacock and stuff like that. And so maybe there isn't as much money in their heels as we would have expected, but it feels like it's something Ray, who I do, Ray's my co-host on the Two Spanners One Hammer podcast that we do on the Hammers Chat Patreon, and it's something he talks about a lot because he's really big into the idea of even if you had one on like a per club basis, right, where like West Ham had their own sort of streaming deal or their own sort of streaming service type thing, because I'm sure if you offered some sort of streaming service where even if it wasn't watching the matches live, maybe you could watch them back, but specifically you could watch, say, all of the youth team matches live, especially while we've got a good youth team at the moment, things like that. It feels like sort of West Ham's NXT in a sense. You feel like there's stuff there, which is so, it's like you say, money on the table. And the same goes to the Premier League, same goes for all of those sort of things. You'd imagine it's just money on the table sat there. But it is interesting given the fact that, given that some streaming services have sort of faltered a little bit over the last year, but a lot of that probably came from the huge boost they all got during the pandemic, right? We come back from the ad break. Finn Balor on the mic, about to start speaking. So sad that they're favouring the deals rather than keeping WWE Network Money Talks. Yeah. I mean, we started the network, I guess, for now, but still. He addresses Seth. He says, your open match challenge is cancelled because of me. The one who's going to take the World Heavyweight Championship from you. Not the best heel promo I've ever heard from Finn. Not going to lie. Good beard at the moment, Finn. It's got big bushy beard at the moment. You've got to respect it. He says, you lot love singing his song so much, you're going to sing it at his funeral, which obviously elicits them to sing it. Rhea says, respect your mummy. Sit down and shut up. She says at Money in the Bank, everyone's going to be bowing at their feet because Finn's going to bring the World Heavyweight Championship to Judgment Down. She's going to prove that she's the most dominant woman in WWE. And Damian Priest is going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. And she says her Dom's going to put down Cody. The thing is with Dom, him getting booed, it's just like, all you have to do is make it fun to boo someone and people will do it, Damian putting it out there that the briefcase is coming home with him, with Money in the Bank. I've said this before, I think, on this channel, but I'll say it again. I did not put enough respect on Damian Priest's name back when he was in ROH. When he was in ROH, I was like, I just didn't see it. I was like, he's fine, but I just don't see it. But since he's come to WWE, he's just taken steps up, and I'm just like, do you know what? I did not put the respect on his name I should have. He's so much better than I thought he was. Priest says to Priest says to Cody, keep Dom's name out of your mouth, or you won't say anything again. Dom goes to speak instantaneously, massive boos. It's just like, because I know like there's a thing about like heels don't get booed enough anymore and all that sort of stuff. If you make it a thing to be fun to boo heels like they have with Dom, then you'll always get that reaction. Huge boos, as per usual. Every time he goes to try and speak. Where's the volume? Let's turn it up slightly. He goes to try and talk again. The crowd stop him again. Rhea giving him a little pep talk as he looks flustered. Literally didn't even say anything that time. Just raised the mic before people went absolutely wild. Oh, they set up a match for later on in the show. Dom says, Cody, you'll see what I'm going to do to you at Judgment Day. And if you can find a couple of little partners for yourself, then you can face the United Judgment Day. Finn, Damian, and Dom versus Cody and potentially 2 others. Judgment Day's theme, like just the guitar bit, sounds like a sort of WWE Attitude Era. We cut to the commentators and just talk about what's going to happen in the show song. Like a sort of low-level background soundtrack hum of WWF back in the day. And I'm for that. I'm for that. We get the Bloodline recap. From SmackDown, big moment. Big moment, and they've since announced. I was right on Friday when I said that I thought that's what they were setting up for. They did announce that that it is going to be Jay and Jimmy versus Roman and Solo at Money in the Bank. Still, I'm looking at the belt again during this recap. I still have mixed emotions on it, but when it's close and there's not a lot of light on it, it does look all right. It's just when it cuts to the wide and it's further away, I'm not sort of keen on it. I wonder when he's going to leave the other 2 titles behind. Or whether that's just going to be forever. But that match should be really good. To be fair. Big opportunity for Solo as well. Who obviously, you know, he's been put in a really big position since Clash of the Castle, being in the Bloodline storyline, being put on a big pedestal, given that airtime. But in terms of actually having matches and putting himself out there in that sense, he's not really had as many opportunities as you would maybe want for someone who's been on the main roster for. When was Clash of the Castle last year? Was it in June? Was it later than that? Well, we're talking about almost a year, right? So it's a huge opportunity for him to be and what will probably end up being the main event of Money in the Bank. You would suspect that could be the main event, and probably would be the main event. It's a big opportunity for him. The match graphics they've been putting on social media, we know bangers. Oh, haven't seen them. I saw when they announced. I saw when they announced the that match, the Bloodline tag match, on whatever show it was on. It was on one of their social media shows, right? That it just happened to pop up on my feed, and I saw it. I was like, ooh, okay, but I haven't seen any other ones. I'm having to scroll through their feed now to see if I can see any of them. Scrolling through their Twitter feed. Is that a what do you call it, reference? It is. What's his name? Eric Andre. It's an Eric Andre reference. Where is it? Let's see if I can. Like this. Let's see if this will actually work. Yeah, there we go. That one. The sort of that meme. That meme. Scroll through, see if you can see any of my new mate. Yeah, I saw this one. That's big. That's big, to be fair. That is big. It's the little details I like this red bit along here. Like, that's the kind of bit I love, because you've got the sort of the like intricacies of the designs of the logo and the tattoos mixed with sort of just like separating in a really cool way. It's sick. It's sick. It's sick, to be fair. But I do love a good match graphic. I do love a good match graphic. And it could be, you know, it could be just me as a graphic designer looking at them and going, ooh, but I do love a good match graphic. I'm still glad that he just still just glad he did a little super kick to Roman, you know what I mean? They genuinely had me for a minute. Oh, there we go. Oh, we get the movement version of the graphic. I mean, we don't have the moving wrestlers, which is the Ultimo version, but with the fire embers flickering in the background. That does look sick. Reminds me of Def Jam Fight for New York, which I'm very for, to be fair. I'm very for. We cut to a backstage promo. Byron Saxton on the mic, who welcomes Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Kevin annoyed that they have to talk about the bloodline again. Sammy says he didn't want to do this in front of other people, and Kevin goes, it's just me, you, and Byron. Just say it. Oh, Sammy says he thinks Kev's a rageaholic, to which Kevin Owens predictably screams. They need to bring moving graphics for, they need to bring back moving wrestlers in graphics for social media. Yeah. AEW do it, and it's always sick. I get why they stopped, but I really wish they would carry on. Sammy says you have to stop having an outburst, and says that if you do, then you have to admit you have a problem. To which he apologizes to Byron, and then there's a double side, and we go back to the ring. Sonya Deville making a way to ring. But yeah, I always love the moving. I always love the sort of moving. I always love the moving wrestler graphics. I get why they stopped doing it, and there was a point where it felt a little bit like, I don't know, it felt a little bit tacky, but I think the way AEW have been doing it looks really cool. Like, really cool. Up next on Raw, Caden Carter and Katana Chance versus Green and Deville. Deville and Green. Will this fit? I don't know. Let's see. something probably something I should solve at some point. The fact that some of these don't fit, but you know, we move. But yeah, I do love it. When I look back on old, when I look back at like old WWF or whatever, I like the motion thing. I think, especially during the Attitude Era, it looked really cool. But there was a period like just after that where they were still doing it, and it looked a bit iffy. But I think now when you've looked at how AEW do it, I really like the moving graphics, and I really wish WWE would like fully double down on them, because I think they're great. I got the AEW as well. Ooh. What day does that come out? Does that come out this week? AEW Fight Forever is this week, isn't it? It's 26th. I don't know why I have 26th, 29th. So next Thursday it comes out. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to get that, aren't I? Probably going to have to get that. I might do a stream of it. I might do a stream of it 29th, yeah. I might do a stream of it. I'm sort of vibing it. I really want to play it. I'm really excited for it. Do it either on this channel or on the other. I don't know which one. Yeah, probably this one, I guess, because it's wrestling in it. I'm really excited. What did you get it on? Did you get it on PC? Where did I put this this coaster? It must have just dropped off somewhere. Who knows? Who knows? That's Slater's problem, not else. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to pre-order that then. Scrolling through 18,000 things out. Xbox, Steam is allowed all these. I don't know if they not. Wanted it there as well. Fair. I'm surprised they're not allowing pre-orders on that yet. Seems like something they should have done. Oh my god, getting a little BT Sport advert with Mikel Antonio in it. Always a weird time to be alive. Always a very weird time to be alive. Hit podcast sensation Mikel Antonio there. It is on Steam. But yeah, they just don't have pre-orders live on Steam. That's very weird, isn't it? Who knows? THQ, Nordic, who knows, man? They move in mysterious ways. Coming back from the ad break. Chance and Carter versus DeVille and Green. Can't imagine who's going to win this. It's got to be DeVille, right? It's got to be DeVille. Are we getting an advert for TikTok? Oh, we're getting a Chelsea Green thing, right? The John Cena thing is actually genius. What the heck? We're just getting a compilation of TikToks that involve Chelsea Green being a Karen, basically. Do you know what? Low key kind of bangs. It's weird and dumb, and I don't understand what is happening, but I'm here for it. Especially because there were actually like the John Cena meme that's been going around with him doing this on the green screen thing. Like, especially the fact that that kind of stuff was in there. It was great, weird and random, and No introduction to it, but, you know, whatever. Outcome Carter and Chance. Two teams battling it out. Not explicitly for a chance at the tag team championships, but, you know, having a little battle to see what can happen. Apparently set up on the socials last week. Sure. Chance and Carter with their big sort of early 2000s Euro trash dance beat entrance. You'll love to see it. Katana Chance starting with Sonya Deville as the bell goes. And a big boot from Deville to start. Flattens Chance out after the distraction from Green. I can't think who would be the one to win this. I mean, you'd imagine it would be Green and Deville, right? I guess. They feel like a team with more momentum, I guess. They feel like a pair of with more momentum. Although not much, if we're being honest, but still. Green tags herself in, clothesline Chance out, knocks Katana off the ring apron. Like, when I think about which one of these teams, not because momentum's a bad idea, bad way of wording it, right? When I think about which one of these two teams I could envision having a championship match, I guess it would be Deville and Green, despite the fact that Chance and Carter are pretty good. Carter running wild right now. Ooh, drop kick into a little splash. Ooh, nice super kick. Duckless under, hits it. Oh, nice little double team maneuver there. Deville lay flat just by the ropes. Both Carter and Chance doing a springboard off the bottom rope. One hitting in a moonsault, one hitting a leg drop. Oh, that was quite cool. Chance on the top. Oh, big 450. That's it. It's done. 1, 2, 3. They get the win. Katana and Chance get the win with a nice double team sort of 450 thing. Katana Chance is really athletic. I mean, obviously, formerly Casey Catanzaro. She was on... she was on... What was it? It was American... What's the Ninja Warriors that was called? She was on that, and she had that sort of moment in the Royal Rumble where she climbed up the side of the ring and all this other sort of stuff. Like, she's clearly super athletic, and there she hit a 450 on... She hit her 450 while on a standing opponent. So she got up really high to get that done. Nice little combo. Ninja Warrior, yeah. Thank you. That was quicker than I expected, but expected the result. I mean, out of the two, I can just imagine the others getting a title challenge first, I guess. But if it's not an explicit free title challenge, what does it matter? I could just see them doing it. We're getting a Cody Rhodes interview on the stage. With Kathy Kelly. I guess because he's over, you want to put him in front of the crowd. Get the whoa-oh bit going, you know. So, it makes sense. There was a while where I didn't think Chance was going to make it. Like, I just didn't think she was ever going to make the main roster. But the tag teams just worked for her and she's been able to get over, so... There we go, we get the woe. Cody turns around, shakes a couple of people's hands as a Prime sponsorship in the background, or a Prime sign, I should say. And now Kathy goes for the interview. Roller coaster himself, yeah, he is. She asks for his reaction on the tag team challenge from Judgment Day earlier. Lists off all the members of Judgment Day who are on fire, and also Dom. Cody does have a cast on his hand, so... Cody accepts the challenge, despite the cast on his arm. When that's it, and the music happens, that's all we had. That's all we have from Cody's promo. Okay. Cody interviewed on the stage, he says, I accept. And then the music starts, he stands and waves a bit, and that's it. So, main event, you would suspect we're going to get Cody and 2 people versus the Judgment Day. You imagine the 2 people are going to be the tag team champions. I mean, I can't imagine it being anyone else, I guess. Is Prime alright? I'm surprised. Is it £2 is a hell of a lot. If there's a corner shop near me that sells it, it's the only shop near me that I think sells it. There's this corner shop, and it has in the window a like printed off Word document that they've just typed up that just says Prime bottles available here. And I've never bothered to go in and have a look to see how much they were selling them for, or to even try to have it. But I've heard it's alright, to be fair. I've heard it's alright. Doesn't it have like a ridiculous amount of caffeine in it or something? I don't really know. I don't really pay attention to the situation. like I sort of know of like the vibe around it, but I don't really pay attention to the actual situation. Some corner shops here sell them for near... Bloody hell. A £5. What do you mean a £5? How can you sell them for that much money? That's madness to me. I mean, I guess if you can sell it for that much, you sell them for that much, right? But like, still, that's a bit much. Can't lie, that's a little bit much. The bottles don't, the cans do. Oh, is it different? I didn't know it was different. I guess that makes sense why you'd have 2 different containers. Right, okay. I think I've only ever seen the bottles here. In like IRL, I've only ever seen the bottles. I've never seen a can. But then again, I don't really... Like I said, I haven't even gone into that corner shop since they started selling it, to be fair. So I just walked past it on the way to Tesco. Go, oh, there it is. Still check it every day as I walk past. Should go in and have a look, just to see. And I think that's the only shop around here that sells it. It's the only shop, or at least it's the only shop around here that advertises it, sells it. That doesn't touch eBay sellers. Saw some singular bottles go as high as 10 to 15. Is it still that expensive? Like, I know, obviously, when it first happened and it was impossible to get hold of and everything else, it was artificial scarcity. I remember, you know, it happens, right? With everything that comes out like that. It's sort of, you get that artificial moment where it's just insane amounts of money because you just can't get hold of it. Because artificial is maybe harsh because that's suggesting they did it on purpose, although maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but it's more just a case you can't get it. But is it still going for that much money? Because I'd be surprised if it is. Like I say, I've never gone past that corner shop in the past however many months it's been up now, 5-6 months, however much it's been up, and it hasn't had that in the window. So I'd be surprised. I'll give you specifically, or Ray, a wave. Hello, how are you? I sent a bunch of messages out for spanners, by the way, earlier, Ray. So I sent a bunch of messages out, so hopefully we'll get some things. What do you mean I don't reply? I reply all the time. What do you mean I don't reply? You sent me a message today. When did you send me a message? Oh, bruv, you sent me a message 6 minutes before this show started. I was on the toilet. And then I was here. But I sent a bunch of messages out for spanners, so hopefully get that sorted. We come back from the ad break. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander making their way to the ring. Two criminally underrated performers. It's gone down since then. In context, it's the entire app's track with a drink and stuff. Yeah, that is a bit wild. Versus Indus and Cher. Cedric and Shelton. That's wild that there's an app to even find where it is. That's crazy. What about the one before that and the one before that? Did I not reply to the ones before that? If I didn't, then that is disgraceful from me, and you're fair to be annoyed. We're seeing the attack of the Indus and Cher, or Indus Cher put on Shelton and Cedric. Do you know what, Ray? I didn't reply to you, and that is disgraceful of me, and I apologise, my friend. How often do you message Game Riot? How often do you comment in Game Riot's comments like that? Oh, hot start. Shelton just goes straight for the jumping kick. Sanga goes down. Nice reversal by Cedric. Him and Shelton in control in a good position right now. Cedric and Shelton just flying up on Sanga once more. Cedric caught from the slingshot over the top. Gets caught. Shelton's also there, though. Oh, I love that blockbuster off the thing. What do you mean my screen gone? It's taking me a picture. Oh. Thrown across the barricade. It's back. Okay, go. Must have been something stupid I did. Who knows? Who knows what it was, but it must be something I did. When I got a lot of it stock on the website, only lasted 3 to 4 minutes. That is wild. That is actually mad. Like, obviously, I remember beginning of PS5 when it first came out as well. It was just complete madness. Just literally every time it would be like, I remember I would see tweets of people going, "Oh, it's going on stock at this time in this place." Sanga with big boot to Shelton, knocks him down into Cher now in control. Jinder just at the side. Couldn't be annoyed at you. But yeah, I've messaged some people for spanners, so hopefully I'll be sorted soon. Big Indus Cher with a big tag team finish. 1, 2, 3 on Shelton Benjamin. The match is over. Side slam with a jumping elbow drop at the same time. Indus Cher with a decisive victory. Jinder Mahal barely moved. Barely moved. We cut to backstage where Kevin Owens has just had... who's just had something spilled on him. To which Kevin goes, it's all good. Kevin looking visibly wound up by the mere existence of Matt Riddle, which, you know, understandable. Matt Riddle warming up. He's got a match with Ludwig Kaiser, building towards again like what I think is most obviously going to be Gunther versus Riddle at Money in the Bank, which to be fair will be a very good match. You know, I might have mixed emotions on Matt Riddle given public, private life stuff. But, you know, in ring, that's going to be a banger. It's going to be an absolute slapper. Big progress in 2017 vibes, 2018 vibes. I remember when I was on Game in Jan 2021 to get my PS on the second or third wave. Never again. Yeah, that was wild. That was actually wild. I managed to get mine. I pre-ordered my PS5 because I got it. They went the day it got announced. They said it would go up for pre-order the next day, and I can't remember what website it was here. I can't remember what website it was, but it wasn't a website I would usually use here. It went up that night, and so I got it like literally the second it went up. I was like, bang, right, get it now because I don't want to mess around, because at the time you had like the chip shortages and all this other sort of stuff was going on. So I was like, do you know what? I don't know how bad this is going to be, so I'm just going to get it now. And so thankfully I got it day one, but there was a problem for a while. Although I did get it sent to my mum's house, which was a bit of an error because I was living at home at the time and then I moved here. So I did have to go and collect it, but at the same time, I at least got it day one. Actually like it when Jinder was champion? Of course you did, bruv. Jace was the same from West Ham Fan TV. Jace loved it. Oh, well, do you know what? After the initial insanity of it all, and after the fact you're like, what? You know why this is happening because of them trying to break in and get bigger in the Indian market and all that stuff. After that initial wave of dealing with that, it was all right. Like it actually sort of worked out. And then with AJ winning, it was a big moment. We at least got a couple of fun matches with like the Punjabi prison match and stuff. The Bollywood boys were doing bits. The Bollywood boys were doing great work during that time. Biggest stuff they've ever done in their career and probably will ever do in their career at this point. I know they rock up on AEW every now and then, but yeah, I wouldn't go back to it. I had it, and like I can now, like in hindsight, enjoy the good bits, and I would not want to go back to it. You know what I mean? One of those sort of vibes. Yeah, you're right. My screen did just go, Ray. I have no idea what happened there. No idea what happened. I'm looking at that game you sent me. It does look very alt F4-y. For context, Ray sent me a TikTok and said, this is a game for you. It does look kind of alt F4-y, which we were talking about earlier. I'm tempted. I can't lie. I am tempted. I remember Shop 2 being the first PS5. Could be wrong, but I pre-ordered the Series X first. Maybe it was Shop 2 then, because I would never have bought something from Shop 2. I can't remember. I'm sure I can go through my emails and find what it was. I can't remember which exact place it was, but it was definitely somewhere I wouldn't usually buy stuff. Loved the Bollywood boys when he brought out the dancers. Just need a good storyline. Yeah, I agree with that. I think anything can work as long as you like make it work. You know, I don't really believe there's anything in. That's a lie, but I don't really believe there's much in wrestling that like can't work as long as you just, like you say, have a good storyline to go along with it. And Jinder, the initial burst. Logan Paul's here. The initial burst didn't work for me, but after that, like, yeah. And like I say, I can now sort of look back at the good bits and just enjoy the good bits. Logan Paul, who is still getting booed in his hometown, or the closest place to his hometown, on top of the ladder, Money in the Bank above his head. He's claimed for Money in the Bank, isn't he? That's what it's going to be. Logan Paul, of course, calling himself one of the best 3 people to have ever come from Cleveland. There's more cheers than usual, and he's going mega babyface for it, but... And then says the moment that made him great was leaving Cleveland. I mean, Logan being in the ladder match is probably a good call, I guess. He'll do some dumb stuff. I mean, realistically, on a guy who's just come back from some wild injuries, it feels a bit mad to lob him in a ladder match of all things. But, you know. He's now laying in the heel shtick onto Cleveland. Running down Cleveland. He's going to go for the sports team stuff. Going down the weird losers route. Everyone from Cleveland loses. Blah, 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 blah. He says he single-handedly is going to put some respect back on this city's name. The thing is with Logan is he is a good wrestler. I just don't like him as a person. But he is a good wrestler. He declares himself for the Money in the Bank match. He claims himself for the Money in the Bank match. Ricochet comes out to distract at the end. Well, not distract, but interrupts at the end. AJ winning the belt in Manchester was an all-time vibe. Yeah, it was great, to be fair. It was really good. Listen, if Gabe Wyatt was up for it, we do it, obviously. I don't think we've got that sort of power. He has commented on the watch-along a couple of times, to be fair. But, you know. LA Knight winning's fading. If Logan, you could see getting a shot at Seth. You could see it. Ricochet says, you know, everyone knows the only reason you're in a match is because at the Royal Rumble I made you go viral. With the big double jump clash thing. He says, what you're saying means nothing because that won't change the fact that Ricochet is going to walk out minus the Money in the Bank. And now here comes an interruption from Shinsuke Nakamura. As your boy Greg Hamilton used to say. Shinsuke's another person who could win it. To be fair, there's quite a few people who could win it. Because Shinsuke could. Logan sadly probably could. LA Knight could. And he gets interrupted by LA Knight. Yes. I mean, LA Knight is having a moment, so you'd imagine you should pull the trigger when you can. And as he's about to finish his promo, out comes Santos. Great stuff from LA Knight, by the way. shouting at Logan Paul, says, "You call yourself a megastar, you make videos for 14-year-old girls. Here's a map, and if you follow it, you'll find exactly where you can put all of those bottles of Prime." Brand split, one brand split. Yeah, I know. I did. Yeah. I mean, it's a Money in the Bank promo, right? Money in the Bank promo has everyone who's in the match always, which I guess with a brand split you can't do until, you know. Oh, out comes Pete, Butch. Butch coming down, no microphone. Logan Paul starts running his mouth, and as he's halfway through saying he doesn't even know who Butch is, Pete Dunne just jumps up and absolutely plaps him in the face. Everyone starts battling all over the shop, brawl all over the place. Butch taking a big hit from Logan Paul out of the ring. Over goes Logan Paul looking for the tope. Lands on his feet as well. Fair play. Fair play. And then gets the Prime from out of his pocket, obviously. And points at the Money in the Bank. Now Logan goes into the middle of the ring. There's no one there to stop him. He positions the ladder underneath the Money in the Bank contracts. Stops halfway up the ladder to just elicit some crowd reaction. And then puts one hand on the Money in the Bank briefcase, flexes, and his theme starts. You know. Classic Money in the Bank segment, right? Everyone who's in the match comes out, does a bit of shouting at each other. You know. Ends up in some sort of brawl. It's classic Money in the Bank stuff. Like you say, brand split, what brand split? It's kind of like, it probably should be kept in some sense, but I get why it happens. I'm surprised it didn't happen on Friday, to be fair. But I guess on Friday they'll probably do the women's one. They'll probably do the women's one on Friday, I guess. So maybe that's why they didn't do it tonight. Maybe that's why they did the men's one tonight. Because you can't do two of those promos in the same night. That feels overkill, especially on a 2-hour show, I guess. Although having said that, they've still got another week of shows until Money in the Bank, so there's no rush to do these things. I don't know. I don't know. Getting a replay of the opening of Raw where Finn destroyed Seth. It's great work from Balor, really. Just deciding, you know, I'm just going to coup de grace Seth to death, basically. And we got what everyone wanted out of Seth Rollins tonight, which is his theme song, and then we can all move on. Not in a harsh way. Not in a harsh way. Still. We'll of course see Finn again later on in the show. In the main event, probably. Yeah, Raw in London would be mad as well. Especially because Forbidden Door's the night before as well. Oh, fuck, I just realised that. Actually. Because I was talking to my girlfriend about it earlier, and I was like, doing the watch-alongs for everything up until Money in the Bank. That was like, my brain was like, let's just push it until Money in the Bank, see what happens, right? And then I've just realised that means doing Raw, then SmackDown, doing Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, potentially Rampage, Collision, Forbidden Door, Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, potentially Rampage. Money in the Bank, that's 11, isn't it? Flipping out. Or some of those we combined. Out comes Matt Riddle for his match against Kaiser. Riddle versus Kaiser. after Riddle. It's going to be up next after the ad break. After Riddle, of course, attacked Gio backstage in the was it last week? Did his leg in? I don't particularly like the I've never particularly liked the like 3D graphics. Like sometimes they look alright. Those random 3D graphics where they just sort of all come out the screen where they're doing entrances. But the specifically Riddle's one, I can't back. I just can't back at all. SmackDown on the day before Money in the Bank starts at 8 PM on BT. They're doing it live for the first time. I mean, that will at least help, I guess, somewhat, although that's Friday night at 8 PM. This just wish me luck on the convincing front. Little promo for SmackDown as we go into the ad break there. We've got the women's tag match, the women's tag unification match this Friday. So there'll be a gap for SmackDown and Rampage. So that's a great point. So it will be both if I do both. Whether I do Rampage is just depending on, I guess, the card, I guess. I could do it. I don't know. It could be good. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But I also know that that's the one that will get, like, the least amount of traction, right? Rampage. It's always got the least amount of traction anyway in general, let alone in general when, people aren't too hot on Rampage, so... But I probably will. I mean, I will end up watching it regardless. Like I say, I always have it on the background, so I might as well do it if it's on in the background. But SmackDown, I'll be doing it. 8 PM. It's a nice start time for the UK. A much nicer start time for the UK, to be fair. It makes sense if they're doing this push towards like having international pay-per-views, like obviously Money in the Bank, Cash at Castle, the Puerto Rico one that was last month and stuff. If they're moving towards these things, it kind of makes sense to also do live SmackDowns from those places in those places times as well. Like I imagine they take a viewership hit to some extent, but it makes sense from like a brand point of view doing that kind of thing. Especially nowadays where like having a taped show is like you're just the show's gonna be ruined for you every single time without fair, right? It just is. Like it's just the way the internet exists now. So I hope for actually getting a signal on the O2 is tough for the provider I'm on. So I hope to hop in for a sec. That'd be good. That'd be good. I mean, I would understand it, to be fair. As someone who, for example, well, to be fair, I haven't been since the pandemic, but I struggled to get signal inside the London Stadium, and that supposedly had Wi-Fi. So it's a different vibe, isn't it? How have I never seen this weird advert before? For O2. I've never seen that advert before for O2. It's very odd. Very odd. But yeah, Kaiser versus Riddle should be a good match, to be fair. I don't know how much time they're going to give it. And we obviously know which way it's going to go. But it should be a good match, to be fair. It's difficult doing these things. Because, like, obviously you talk about what's going on, even though I might have opinions on, like, Riddle or, like, Logan Paul, for example, as people. It's like, it's weird when you talk about them in that sense, when you're, you know, having to almost separate it somewhat. You know? Devon, if I'm saying it correctly, I hope so. Hope you're well, bro. Hope you're good. How are you? How are things? Hope you're having a good day. Also, am I pronouncing it right when I say Devon? That's what I've tried. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Tell me I'm wrong. 5G worked for me at the LS last time. I was there at a Sevilla game. That was not so... Oh, yeah, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too long ago. Yeah, I don't even have... Do I have 5G or do I have 4G? I don't know. I have a £5 contract, so I have the cheapest contract I could find because I barely use it. So it's better, right? Let's go. Thank you, Devon. How are you? How's your day been? Hope you're well. Road to win a ring. Imperium's theme begins. As Ludwig comes out being accompanied by Gunther. I say this, as much as I never wanted them to change Gunther's theme, especially from specifically the version he was using like on the Independence and stuff, is just too iconic in my head. The version they use at the moment isn't too bad. I'll give them that. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. And it obviously still has the intro, but it's not too bad. We're seeing what set up this match. 2 weeks ago, Gio and Ludwig having a pop at Riddle, who ends up doing some serious damage to Gio's leg. And then we see the bit from last week where Gunther and Ludwig attacked Riddle after his Money in the Bank match. It's not prime Walter music, it's not too bad. That's what I mean, yeah. I don't know why they would... I guess they can't sell prime Walter music, right? So it makes kind of sense, but yeah. Devin, who do you reckon's going to win Money in the Bank? Men's. We've just seen obviously the segment where they were all in it. Who do you reckon's going to win it? But this isn't bad. Like, it does have a sort of quite ominous kind of dominating vibe to it. Still think the original's perfect for him, but what can you do? Bell rings. Riddle versus Kaiser. Matt Riddle versus Ludwig Kaiser. Riddle ducks underneath the punch, starts laying in the kicks to the chest. Ludwig catches it. Oh, nice roll through it. Looking for that ankle lock that did so much damage to Giovanni. Managed to get to the edge. Fights back. So far, it's been all Riddle. Even when Ludwig has had the chance to lay in some damage, Riddle's managed to reverse it into his own. Ooh, you think it's better with the... I don't care what you're saying. Oh, Kaiser with a nice drop kick to Riddle, who is hanging on the outside of the ropes, upside down. We're going to hear it tonight, so I'll have a little deeps of it. My initial reaction says no. My initial reaction says the OG is better, but I'll have a little. Maybe I need to reassess it. I need to reassess it. Kaiser and Riddle just going blow for blow in the middle of the ring right now. Oh, nice by Matt Riddle. Double suplex. Standing senton from Matt Riddle. Launches himself over the top of the rope. Big kick from the apron to Ludwig, who's on the outside. Riddle, distracted by Gunther, gets taken out from Kaiser from behind. Makes the song feel more full. I can appreciate that. Oof, big DDT from the apron to the outside from Ludwig. See, I can appreciate that. Like I say, we go to an ad break. Like I say, I'll have a little listen. I'll have a little reload on it as we pop up and see how I feel. Because I feel like no, but we'll see. I need to reassess. I need to be properly fair to it. Discovery Plus is in the UK now, isn't it? Because we keep seeing adverts for it. It is in the UK now, right? Because I remember there being talks when they started saying they were going to plan on launching it in the UK about whether or not WWE Network was going to go away and it was going to go on there. But yeah. You prefer Trish's first solo WWE? What was Trish's... Right, we're going to YouTube. What was Trish's first solo theme? Let me have a look. Trish... Stratus... Oh, this one! Yeah, I do remember this one now. Oh my god, this is so of its time. Yeah, and then riffs, it feels very, do you know what? It feels very Tekken-y to me. It feels very Tekken-y to me, you know? I don't know why. Like, there's something about the way it goes, the like, wow, that sounds like something I would hear in, like, the background of a Tekken match. I can see why you'd be into this one, to be fair. Actually, it's difficult to say it's difficult to say it matches to the in the rock and roll because it's just such a like iconic thing. Yeah, I don't know why this feels so Tekken-y to me, but it just does. I like it. To be fair, this is decent as well. Super of its time, but it's pretty good as well. To be fair, it's pretty good. To be fair. I'll come back now. I think that's an acceptable. I think that's an acceptable opinion. It's hot, but I think it's acceptable. It's library music as well. Ooh. Let's see if I can find that. See if I can find what library it's in. We've got that one. Just see if I can start using it on Hammer's chat for the bands. See if anyone loses it. See if anyone's like, oh my god. I mean, I'd have to pay for it, but... Back from the ad break. Scrolling through the album I think it's on. Don't know what it'd be called on that, though. Because Gio, for example, was into wrestling. So that might be a thing that knocks the memory into him. Back from the ad break. Ludwig on the top rope. Riddle down. Runs up to the top rope to join him. Looking for maybe a Fisherman suplex. Oh. Fisherman superplex from the top. From Matt Riddle. Both men down. Imagine it be just me, but I'd be vibing. Yeah, probably. Like I say, Gio has it in him. He won't admit it publicly, but he did used to like wrestling. And like I remember once he did a Tatanka reference at me out of nowhere, so there is something there. But again, he would never admit it publicly. Riddle and Kaiser going blow for blow in the middle of the ring. Chops, forearms, open hand strikes. Big boot into the Pele from Matt Riddle. Kip up. Big running forearm to Ludwig in the corner. Hits the second. Nice suplex. Riddle's running riot right now. Looking for the PK. Dodges. Lands on his feet from the moonsault. Senton knees up from Ludwig. So new gen WWF type knowledge. Yeah. Through to like... Yeah, new gen through to like 90... Oh, nice little weird standing horror Corona thing to the outside from Matt Riddle, who's now standing on his apron. Floating bro, like Acai style, jumping off the second rope, launching himself onto Ludwig on the edge. New gen through to like late Attitude Era. I don't like he would have stopped. Oh, nice suplex. Nice fisherman, like sort of, I think Fisherman Buster is what it's called, into a hook of the leg, into a 2 count. Through to like end of the Attitude Era. Like he's made references to like Tatanka, Lita. He was making rock bottom references at me the other day. So like through to like end, like close to the end of the Monday Night Wars type era. Nice European uppercut into an Intigiri from Ludwig. Oh, big knee from Riddle. The flipping heck. I don't even know what just happened, but it looked 2 count. I don't even know entirely what just happened. but but something did. Riddle like jumped in, ended up landing almost what looked like he was being caught in a fireman's carry position from Ludwig, and then I couldn't quite tell if it was like a crucifix bomb, whether it was like rolling thunder. I couldn't tell what it was at all. But Ludwig's in control because of it. Double underhook suplex. Get out of business hot. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Oh, love that from Riddle. Jumping, spinning European uppercut from Ludwig, caught in midair from Riddle, who ends it in a suplex. Now gets him up. Bang. Bro Derek for the free. Mate, if those two were given time on like a pay-per-view with no interruptions, you could see a grand wrestling match coming out of that. I know Ludwig was obviously... In comes Gunther trying to attack Riddle. Ducks and starts laying in the kicks to the chest. Oh, Gunther catches one of them and then kicks out the underleg emphatically. Like, I know Ludwig was obviously a big deal on the European Indies before he joined WWE, and then just sort of got lost in the WWE system for ages until Imperium really started. But like, you can see he's a really good wrestler. Like, he has a lot of ability and just has like a really good like moveset. And you think if those two specifically were given an opportunity to really have a go, they could probably craft a really, really good match. Gunther just going at Riddle's leg. Ludwig holding him hostage as Riddle just is his leg completely laid bare. Gunther just stomping on it. Bit of payback for what happened to Gio before. I refuse to give him his full name. He's Gio. And in my head, he's Scottish. Goes to ad break. Yeah, if those two were given a proper time and stuff, they put together a really good match. I mean, we'll see probably a good match on Money in the Bank again if the IC match does happen there. Right, well, I've got an hour and a half left. I don't think there's... What else is announced? I think the only other thing announced is this tag match, right? Everything else that's been announced... Oh, no, the Trish match. Oh, and if Bronson Reed versus Shinsuke happens. Okay, that makes sense. I know, they are going... There is a lot of... Every single ad break seems to be like, have you heard of Discovery Plus? It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot in it. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you get bought by the company, right? Because TNT's bought... Is TNT owned by this? Hang on. All the media conglomerates in my head are getting confused. TNT is owned by Discovery, isn't it? Or whatever the company above it is called. I think. Because it's owned by Warner Bros., which merged with Discovery, right? Warner Bros. Discovery, yeah. I'm right. Okay, yep. Okay, that makes sense now. They're just running completely and utterly wild. We're probably going to get it non-stop, aren't we? It's probably just going to be non-stop. 50-50 with BT and TNT Sports, I believe. Also, BT are still keeping part of their... Just part of it. I didn't know that. I thought they were just... Because I know there was rumours that they were sort of looking to get out a year ago. So I had assumed they just, like, bunned off the entire thing. I didn't realise that they were, keeping a 50-50 stake in it. Which seems weird from BT. From a BT's point of view, like, surely the point of you keeping it is lost if you just get rid of... If the branding goes... It's like buying the naming rights to a football stadium and then not using them. Like, you get goodwill from it from the fans, but I don't get if you lose the marketing side of it. So surely if BT Sports is going to change to TNT, I guess that's how they got the rights. That's a fair point. I didn't think about that. That's a great point, actually, to be fair. I never really thought about that. Yeah, with all the rights and everything that's going on. Yeah, okay, fair. Fair, that makes perfect sense. Can't just switch it all over in one big go. So there'll be some sort of, like, crossover. Yeah, that makes sense. Getting an advert for Seth going on the Pat McAfee show. Sure. I might watch that. I quite like Pat McAfee, to be fair. I never watch his podcast. I watched the Vince one. I watched the Brock one. That's about it. I watched the Adam Cole one, but that's about it. We cut to backstage. Matt Riddle being helped through the backstage area by two of WWE's medical staff. We now cut to Owens and Zayn. Imperium interrupt them, ask them, have you seen what we just did to Riddle? Says if you two aren't careful, we'll do the same thing. Kevin begins to explode, calling him long-winded and everything else. Sammy looks at his phone and says, we've got something to deal with first. Claps the belts at him, and they're away. Oh, shoosh, please. Shoosh, let's go. He's moved to ESPN in the autumn. Is he? He's really good as a commentator, man. I love Pat McAfee. He's one of the, like, people who just, like, instantly took to wrestling like a duck to water. Watching the incident from last week, of course, where Gable was facing Ivor? Eric? Which one? I can't remember I can never remember the name, the author of their name, the order of their names. They'll always be War Machine to me. As Alpha Academy walk out, all three of them. We cut to a backstage vignette from earlier today. Where Gable is teaching Maxine to hit a suplex. I love Chad. Chad Gable's great. They're teaching Maxine to do the suplex, reminding her that it's all in the hips, of which Otis very happily and emphatically shows. And out come the Viking Raiders. Yeah, Pat going to... Yeah, like, what's Pat going to be doing on ESPN? I guess he could do American football stuff, right? He's big in that world. Out come the Viking Raiders, of course, being accompanied by Valhalla. Right, doesn't fit, so we're just going to go with Alpha A versus Raiders. In fact, no, we're going to change it up a bit. We're going to go we're going to go Alpha A versus Viking lads. There we go. There we go. That makes sense. That makes sense. As the Viking Raiders continue to make their way into the ring. Apparently just bring this show over. Just this show. Fair play. I mean, look, he's a great get for them, to be fair. He's really good. And he's very popular. And he has a very popular show. And it makes sense. You just lob a bunch of sports people on there. It makes sense. Makes sense. Kind of like when, what's his name? I can't even remember his name. Eric and Chad Gable starting in the ring. I can't remember his name at all. What's his name? What if this happens to me every single time? He works for BT Sport. I don't know if he still does. He has an MMA. He's really popular in MMA. He has an MMA podcast which is really popular. He does like interviews for BT. Does a bunch of stuff with wrestling. He used to be managed by Nick Khan back in the day. I don't know if he still is. I could just see him in my head. I'm not sure. Otis tags in. Ivar and Otis. The big boys. Big headlock from Otis. Blocks the clothesline into the headlock. Off the ropes. Just powers through. Hawani, thank you. Aero Hawani, yes. A bit like that, where it just makes sense to sign him up. It just makes perfect sense to sign him up. Otis with a big splash into the corner. Ivar goes down in the corner. Otis is hyping up. Ducks under a clothesline from Eric. Ivar gets back up. Spinning heel kick. Just high kick from Ivar, and now the Viking Raiders get back in control of this match. Otis trying to fight his way out of the corner as the Viking Raiders both are all over him at this point. Having said that, Ivar's got a suspiciously placed headlock on Otis, who's fighting his way across to the corner. Both men are on their feet. Little rugby scrum style, being pushed further and further back. And then Ivar just knocks him down. Big knee and then just clubbing blow to the back. Oh, nice suplex from Otis. Up and over. Now both looking for a hot tag. Eric and Chad looking to come in. Both get tagged. Oh, nice rolling net breaker from Gable. Oof. Looking for the suplex on Ivar. Can't quite manage it, Gable, but it does end up clotheslining him over. Oh, big suplex instead to Eric inside the ring. Down go the straps into the thank you. Oh, nice moonsault. Chad from the top. Lovely moonsault. Knocks both of the Raiders down. He looked big into darts. They show darts in America. Diving headbutt from the top, gets a 2 count from Chad. Really? They show darts in America? I legitimately never would have guessed. I legitimately never would have guessed. Great diving headbutt from Gable. Valhalla trying to distract Chad. Maxine looking for the suplex that Gable taught her. Hits it on the outside. Hits a thank you after the fact. Although distracted, and Eric finishes him. 1, 2, 3, and the Viking Raiders get the win. Maxine and Otis distracted, celebrating. Maxine hitting a successful suplex taught to her by Coach Gable himself. And in the ring, Eric gets ducks under Gable's attack, lifts him up, little knee to the back of the head. For the 3 count. He had the current world champion, so I guess it's going traffic. No, that's wild to me. That's wild. That is actually a bit mad. We're getting a backstage promo. Judgment Day we're having a conversation about later. Dom says, as long as we're on the same page, we'll take care. It doesn't matter what happens with... It doesn't matter who Cody picks. Rhea asks whether Finn and Damien are on the same page. They sort of have a... Yeah, we're fine. Damien says our issues aren't with each other. And out comes Rhea for her match. But yeah, that's mad. I never would have thought darts would be a thing in America. Although I guess darts is promoted by... It's promoted by... What's his name, right? Eddie Hearn. Doesn't he promote the darts? So makes sense that they would put it. The next big frontier for darts would probably be America, right? Out comes Rhea. She's, of course, going to be facing Natalya. That was one of the other promoted matches. I do remember that. To be fair. Or as it goes to ad break, we get a special look at whatever the film he just said was. A Wes Anderson film. Asteroid City. Probably the right moment for a Wes Anderson film, given all the memes on Twitter and everything. But yeah, I think what's his name, Eddie Hearn promotes it, so it makes sense. America's like the next big frontier for darts. I mean, I don't think darts could get any bigger in the UK without like exploding somehow, like, you know, like when everything has like a huge megastar in it, like if someone just sort of gets out of that place and if you can get America on board, then that'll push it forward. But that is kind of wild to think about. Darts in America is a bit wild. Right, I'm gonna go get a drink while we're on our break. We're back in a sec. I know this is not a hot take, right? I understand this isn't a hot take, but 3 hours is just a long time. Like, I get it, but it's just a long time. It's just a long time. When there's a lot of adverts, no, like, picture-in-picture stuff. Just a long time. Right, we come back from the ad break. Rhea versus Natalya going to be kicking off. Rhea in the ring. Night of Champions rematch. That you've put to it. We get a backstage interview with Natalya, who's in gorilla position with Kathy Kelly. She says no matter what happened at Night of Champions, she's still trying to get used to it. She's trying to figure out where she fits in all of this. But tonight's a second chance for that. To find out where she belongs. And to prove something to herself. To prove that she still belongs. And out she comes. I always find it a little bit weird where, like, you have this sort of gorilla position interviews right before people come out, which I think are quite good. I think that's I quite like it as an idea and as like a way of doing things. And like Natalya there, who's like really sort of like overthinking stuff and really sort of like, I need to figure out if I belong, blah, 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 blah. And she's sort of almost down and depressed. And then it cuts to her walking out and she's like, and that's not a diss on Natalya, it's just a diss on the format of the way those things work. Like, I feel like the mood should continue through it, but still. Out comes Natalya, and as she celebrates on this, as she celebrates on her ring, apron, Rhea going to town. It's draining to watch sometimes due to the sheer amount of time this morning. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. I think doing a watch along for me helps because it means I'm doing something while it's on. But it is just a lot. Thrown straight into the ring steps. Rhea just dominating Natalya right now. Just lobbing her all over the shop on the outside of the ring. She's been into the barricade. She's been into the ring steps. She's been into the LED board on the side of the apron. Oof. Rhea shouting, you think it's a smart idea to get back in the ring with me, and then headbutts Natalya before throwing her back into the ring. Yeah, doing a watch along for it helps. It makes it seem a lot less long. And when I'm working at the same time, it's not the end of the world. But specifically, if I'm not doing either of those things, if I'm just sat, like, watching the show, it's so long. It's so long sometimes. Ripley continues her attack when she gets into the ring, and Natalya, who's struggling to get back up, and referees and the people in charge come out and stop Rhea. Stops the match from even beginning and force Rhea out. Rhea, as she goes back, her theme song playing, match didn't even get started. She says the women's division's on lockdown. We cut to backstage where Raquel Rodriguez is watching what just happened. Of course, she used to team with Rhea. She says it's an honor to step into the ring with Trish, and as much as she wants to win the Money in the Bank contract, she says she has to talk about Rhea. She says that's not okay. Rhea comes back through Gorilla at the exact same moment as she says she plans on reminding Rhea she's not in control. Rhea steps to her. She says, "What was that? What have you got to say?" Raquel says, "You aren't ready for me." See, that was pretty good. That whole thing was pretty good. Like, I mean, like, the Rhea, like, Natalya thing was whatever it was, right? But, like, Raquel watching it, Rhea coming straight back through, then going back into a second one again, that was pretty cool. Raquel Rodriguez versus Trish Stratus is up next. Money in the Bank qualifying match. Ricardo Rodriguez's sister Raquel, obviously, for the Swiss amongst us. I forgot I got Pete Williams in the producer role, a couple of TNA legends in the producers. Did I completely missed Petey Williams there? How did I miss Petey? Every time you see Abyss pop up, it's quite hilarious. Joseph Park. Every time you see him rock up, it's just a bit wild. I completely missed Petey there. Hang on, I'm watching on enhanced mode, which means I can rewind. Let me try and rewind. Was he one of the producers who was trying to force her back? Oh, he's crashing. Trying to force it back, it's not. I can see maybe what is potentially a very blurry shot of PT, but it was crashing. I clicked live now. He's gone back in time. Hang on, let me refresh. I tried to push the technology too hard. The technology didn't like it. The technology was not keen. It saw what I was trying and it was like, nah. In the words of LA Knight. Hour and 5 minutes left. After the ad break, we'll obviously have Raquel Rodriguez versus Trish Stratus. We've still got that 6-man tag at the end of the show. And I'm pretty certain, I'm fairly certain there was nothing else announced, although I am just checking now if there was anything else announced. Logan Paul, Matt Riddle, Kaiser, Trish, Rhea, Nakamura. Well, there's that Nakamura Bronson Reed thing that, again, they sort of announced, and whether or not that's actually happening or not is a different question, but that sort of exists. We'll see if that happens. I might have to play All 4-2 now. I mean, I don't have the time to, but my brain's saying I should play it. Now I know it exists. The temptation is too strong. Although I should finish the first one. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that segment just to see the boy PT. I saw what I think was a blurry shot of him, but it was crashing when I tried to... on the enhanced player on BT Sport on their site, you can like rewind and do stuff. And when I do it on football, it's usually completely fine. But for some reason, that was just like... I don't know, just infinite loading kind of vibes going on. So I saw like a shot of what looked like him being like... And I think it was him, but it was so blurry that I honestly couldn't tell if it was him or not. So I'm not risking the rewind again. I'm just going to watch adverts for MotoGP because that's exciting, isn't it? No apologies necessary. No apologies necessary. I think it was made by like one guy. I don't know if he's got more people working on 42. Or 42, I guess I should say. But I think it was just made by like one guy. It always seems like the sort of game that's like achievable to make just because it's so completely random. I don't know. It's more expensive though. It's like £3. How dare he? How dare he try to charge an extra £1 for his work? As we come back from the ad break, Cody is backstage. Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa comes up to him and says, "If you're looking for a partner, I'm your man." To which Cody goes, "Yeah, all right, I'll consider it. I like your hair." And as they go, here comes Sammy and Kevin. Predictably, it is going to be Kevin and Sammy. There was a brief moment there where Cody says Akira Tozawa's just offered. Kevin begins to almost blow up and Cody goes, well, I haven't accepted yet. Tonight it's going to be us. Again, it makes perfect sense, right? It was just, the whole thing was just laid out in a way where you're like, yeah, okay, this is going to happen, but... It does mean we've been deprived of Tozawa. Which I, for one, am fuming about. Tozawa's going to go down as one of those guys, like, when you look back at, like, the Attitude Era, and you have people who, like, I don't know, who's a good example? People who were just around and were just jobbers and never appeared, but, like, outside of that, you look at their, like, career and you're like, flipping hell, you're like a legend. Zoe Stark accompanying Trish to the ring. I know what you mean about it sort of being a bit more. It does. I know what you mean. I'm gonna back the OG, but I see what you're saying, Josh. To be fair, I see what you're saying. I don't think it's an unfair take. Weird seeing Trish back. It's weird seeing Trish back still. Like, properly, like, cutting promos, doing bits. You know? Trish, obviously, accompanied by Zoe Stark. She has the picture-in-picture promo as the bell rings. Trish, size-wise, going to have to fight from underneath here. Oh, nice. Nice little scissor kick to the face from Trish on Raquel. Oh, just bear hugging, ragdolling Trish about there, Raquel. And then slams Trish down. The thing is, though, I don't know why I prefer the original. I think it's just because I've heard it too much. I think for heel Trish, this works perfectly. I think for heel Trish, this probably works better than the original. Raquel being forced back, Trish in the corner outside of the ropes. Raquel being pushed back by the ref. Long enough for Trish to sort of gain a little bit of momentum, climb back up. Oh, Wally, my liege. My liege, how are you, sir? Should win based on size, but I'm sure Trish has got this. Yeah, I mean, Raquel is huge compared to Trish. Shoulder charging into the corner. Oh, mistake from Raquel. Trish manages to roll out of the way. Raquel going for another shoulder into the corner, goes straight into the corner post. How are you, Polly, by the way? You alright? Big DDT from Trish. 1, 2, kick out. Just going for a third cover in a row, just trying to stop it as soon as possible. Raquel versus Rhea for the championship sounds like a fun match. That sounds like a match I want. slamming her into the mat is Trish. Victoria's theme is... Yes, strong agreements on me there, Josh. Victoria's theme is... I've been activated. So Victoria in general, top tier. Victoria's theme was a banger. Victoria in general, man. Just put respect on her name. So good. So good. Hope you're... I'm good, bro. I'm good, Wally. I'm good. Tired. Got a lot to do. Too warm right now. London could learn to cold down a bit. Apart from that, I'm alright. Looking to try and do something while there's no watch-alongs to do football-wise. Hence this. But apart from that, I'm alright. Trish mounting Raquel in the corner. Trying to... Ooh. Pulling the hair around the corner post. As someone with long hair, that seems very painful. Although Raquel runs her out, looking for maybe a buckle bomb. Nice little Hurricane Rana. Throws her straight into the corner post. 1, 2 on the roll-up from Trish. Can't quite find a free count. Trish loads up a big right hand. And now a camel clutch in the middle of the ring from Trish. Oh, I love that. I love it's at the Hall of Fame ring. You can see as she's doing like the camel clutch. Can you see her Hall of Fame ring? Because that's sick if you can. Raquel fighting her way out of it. Rises up to her feet. Gets her into a side slam position. At least there's no stress for VR in wrestling. True. True. Did you see that was it DDT who did like a VAR spot back when VR was first like sort of getting introduced everywhere? I think it was DDT. I think it was the DDT arena show. As opposed to like one they do in like the woods or at a flipping, I don't know, swimming pool or whatever. Don't let them type your hair. I tell you what, honestly, it would be very painful. It would be very painful. What I need to do, Wally, is just cut it as quickly as possible, then it'll be fine. But like, also because it's hot, need to get rid of it. But yeah. Raquel just lobbing fall away slams for days on Trish. A little bit awkward. A little bit of awkwardness on that second one there. The ducking under into a huge clothesline. Raquel was in complete control of this match. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was DDT. Zoe just awkwardly pulling the leg away from Raquel there as she tries to climb back into the ring. And then straight into the corner post again goes Raquel. Just lots of things in a row there that just looked slightly painful. That just looked uncomfortable, you know. Out comes Becky Lynch from behind. The crowd started cheering and we couldn't see why. And Zoe Stark now getting thrown around on the outside by Big Time Bex. Trish comes out to try and stop her. And in she goes flying into the barricade, and because Becky threw Trish into the thing, redhead's Becky Lynch. Because Becky threw Trish into the thing, she wins via disqualification, and so Trish Stratus is in the Money in the Bank match in London on July 1st. And Raquel is fuming about it. Trish and Zoe Stark managed to get out of Dodge. Raquel asking Becky, what did you do? Trish gets put in the Money in the Bank match. I'm loving Trish being back, you know. It's weird, but I kind of love it. I love seeing her in these sort of scenarios, something she just didn't get to do during her original run, you know? Becky and Raquel exchanging frank words in the ring after that. Trish wins via disqualification. I mean, it's a bit of a wild way to put it in, but it makes sense. Keeps Raquel looking like the strong person she is. Keeps Raquel looking dominant. And again, kind of, I guess, delays Raquel eventually versus Rhea, which is kind of good because that feels like a collision course that's going to happen at some point. But it not being Money in the Bank yet, I guess, stops it ever so slightly and puts it in a position where it's going to be like a 50-52 women stepping into the match and having a match, as opposed to the... I mean, I guess Raquel could declare earlier and just have an actual straight-up match, although that's rare. Trish could win. I've just had this thought process, but Trish could 100%... Trish could win, and Trish could 100% a little cheeky sneak attack from behind Money in the Bank contract double win. That could actually happen. That could actually happen. Seeing a replay of what happened earlier as we get a promo for tomorrow's night's match, which is on NXT Gold Rush, WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins versus Bron Breakker. I'm not doing a watch along for that, but bit wild that that's happening. Bit wild that that's happening. Again, Seth being damaged, gonna have to fight against Bron. Oh, we're gonna get a backstage promo from Bron. Kathy says it's unclear whether Seth can compete. What's your thoughts? He says, surely Seth's not going to use it as an excuse not to show up and face me. He talks such a big game, being a workhorse here, night in, night out. He said, I've been waiting for this opportunity. And if you think what Finn did to Seth is bad, then you just wait till tomorrow. Says he's going to hurt Seth frickin' Rollins real frickin' bad. Ooh, Bron! Not bad. Do you know what? I haven't seen enough of heel Bron because I've just not been keeping up with NXT in that kind of sense. But not a bad promo from him. He looks almost, you know, a little thing there. He's alright, Bron. Alright. I didn't know you had it in you, mate. Fair play. Fair play. Nakamura versus Bronson Reed coming up next. That's the wrong one. Yeah, fair play, Bron. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not a legendary promo or anything, but I didn't know I haven't seen enough of NXT since he's turned heel. I've seen bits and pieces and I've seen matches here and there, but I haven't seen him actually doing, like, promo work. That wasn't bad from Bronson. From Bron Breakker, to be fair. Up next, after the ad break, Shinsuke and Nakamura versus Bron Breakker. See, Shinsuke could definitely win Money in the Bank. Like it'd have to be like a... I don't know, there's a few people in that match who could win. I'm looking up the card now because I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. But like Nakamura could very easily win that match. LA Knight could very easily win that match. And Logan Paul could somehow win that match. Like, there's a possibility there for someone. I mean, like, it wouldn't, like, Santos is just this bit early for. Butch is there for the London vibe. He'll do some mad stuff. He'll come close to it at some point, but it won't happen. Ricochet's obviously going to do a madness. Damian Priest is good to have in that kind of match step. I don't think he's in a position to win it yet, but he's good. But yeah, I think there's at least 3 people who could realistically win it. I do think it has to be LA Knight though. Like looking at it, it does just sort of have to be LA Knight because he's got the momentum, he's got the hype right now. The Timeless Podcast, which everyone should subscribe to. How are you, sir? Hope you're well. I was thinking, just woke up, flipping out. Your time schedules are just all over the shop. How are you? How are things? I'm alright. Bit warm. In fact, I'm going to angle this fan a bit more towards me and pull it slightly closer and turn it slightly up. Just to calm down. But apart from that, fine. How are you? Because, I mean, the women's match, there's a couple of people who could win as well. Because Becky could obviously win, although it feels like her and Trish are building towards something else, but Becky could obviously win. Bayley could obviously win, although, again, it looks like it's building up with her and Io Sky, but Io Sky could also win, and Trish could also win. So, actually, if you're building to those matchups specifically, if you're building to, like, Trish and Io, and you're building to Becky and Trish, and, sorry, Io and Bayley, then that leaves you with Zoe Stark or Zelina. Zelina's just had a championship match, so she's not going to get another one, you would suspect. Zoe, you feel like it's too early to. It's a nice, like, spot to put her in to get, like, eyes on her. I reckon it's going to be Trish, you know. I reckon it will be Trish. And then Zoe stops Becky from stopping it being Trish. Maybe, but it feels right, doesn't it? Cody beats Dom. Seth beats Finn. And then the Usos beat the Bloodline. Maybe. That one I'm less confident about. If we're being completely open and honest and fair about it, that one I'm less confident about. Oh, fever's draining you. Fair. That sucks. I hope you get one soon then, bro. We don't have AC. Me and my girlfriend did have a long conversation about buying conditioning in January. We had long conversations about it because we knew this was coming. And obviously UK houses are designed to keep heat in. Like they're built out of like just materials, and like we live in quite an old house as well, and it's like designed to keep heat in and all that stuff, and you have like a different type of heat here and all that other sort of stuff. So it's just muggy and horrible when it gets to this time. But it only happens for like 1 month of the year, and like even then you get like a random week here and there where it's too hot. So we had a big long conversation about whether we should get aircon or not, but we decided it's just too expensive and too much effort. So instead we just have a couple of desk fans in and around the flat. So I've currently got a desk fan right next to me here, like on a chair. I can't show the camera move, but I've got one just on the thing here. Let me try and move it off. No, it's not falling off. But yeah, I stuck it onto it for some reason because it was falling off. Anyway, yeah. So that's my bit. Back from the ad break. Becky being interviewed backstage by Byron. She said, I screwed myself, or did it? Because now I get Trish Stratus in a match with Ladders. But she says now I have enemies with Damage Control in that match. With Trish, with Zoe Stark, and she's hardly best mates with Zelina. She says she either climbs to the top of the mountain that she's created for herself and becomes Miss Money in the Bank, or she fails on the way through but takes out Trish and Zoe on the way through. It's shaping up to a really, really good match, to be fair. I hope his Io wins, but that's hope. Yeah. The thing is, I think Io could win. They're setting up for Io and Bayley in terms of falling out. But Io could win. It's just a case of like... Io could win. It's just a case of... When are they pulling that trigger? And Money in the Bank feels like an opportunity to pull the trigger of her versus Bayley becoming a real big issue. Like they've obviously been playing it up for a while. I don't know. We'll have to see. Out comes Bronson Reed for his match against Shinsuke Nakamura. Corey, trying to hype this match, says you don't want to miss it. If you've got plans with your family, get a new family. Which is a very big claim to make before a televised WWE television match. that could be a good 15-minute classic, could be 2 minutes long. Very bold thing of Corey to say that. Bronson Reed is a big boy, Wally. You're not wrong. He's a large man. He's from the Oceania region, but he is a big bloke. Very, very agile for a man his size, but is also flipping huge. Seen a replay of the match with Ricochet involved with the three of them last week. Bell gets rung. Shinsuke instantly jumping kicks straight to the face of Bronson. My money's on the big guy this time. I respect it. I can respect it. Shinsuke trying to run some means. Gets the headlock takeover. Big knee. The thing is, you can't back out Shinsuke. Obviously, Bronson, a big guy. Very powerful. Like I say, more agile than you think. He's a dominating presence. But Shinsuke, I tell you what. Strikes-wise. Now better than Shinsuke. Apart from Shane O'Mac, obviously. Corey, you have to employ the Space Force to take this guy down. As Bronson begins to really take control of Shinsuke. Corey's still just going off on one in the background. Just said you might have to employ one of the Jaegers from Pacific Rim, which is a great Pacific Rim reference. First one of those does not get referenced enough. A great film. Second one I haven't seen, so I can't really speak about it. But the first one was awesome. Huge chop down on Bronson. Bronson versus Shinsuke feels like a G1 match, and I'm fine with that. Oh, nice Pele kick again from Shinsuke trying to fight his way back out of it. Or Shinsuke locks him up in the ropes, rolls backwards, and hits that running German off the ropes. Oh, and as he lands at the edge, out comes Ricochet. Says he's just here to watch. Distracting Shinsuke in an interesting way before the ad break there. Are we going to end up getting... We know all of them are there despite the brand split. Are we going to get every single one of them talking? Is that what's going to happen? Bronson not in a big ladder makes me big sad. Yeah. Bronson Reed in a Money in the Bank ladder match would be very fun. Would be very fun. I'm interested to see where he goes. There was a lot of talk when he first re-signed about like him being like a big thing and like people really backing his beef. And not that he hasn't done that. I'm just interested to see where it ends up. Of course, that was pre-Vince coming back and stuff. So I'm just interested to see where that ends up. Because Bronson Reed is great. He's huge. He's agile. He's good in the ring. He's got a presence about him. Promos could probably be a bit better, but I think he's really good. So I'll be interested to see where he sort of ends up. And I'm interested who wins in this one. You feel like it has to be Shinsuke, given the what's the word I'm looking for? Given the pay-per-view that's coming up, let's just go with that. Let's just say that. I don't know what the word I was looking for even was. So you feel like it's got to be him still. He came from beating Okada to just wanting to see him shine on WWE. I know, it's kind of wild, isn't it? It's kind of wild. But it's the way these things go. I was thinking about this the other day with I was thinking about AEW's roster and like how many people are just sort of lost in the shuffle, and thinking about say someone like Swerve, who I don't think is lost in the shuffle necessarily, but I think Swerve is so good he could be a champion really anywhere. And just sort of thinking in these sort of situations where you do have a lot of people who are, the best of the best, because you have so many people in WWE and especially in AEW who over the last decade of independent wrestling have been the biggest people in independent wrestling, and potentially some of the biggest in Japan as well, that they can't all just be champions. And it's like, you just sort of got to take what you get with it to an extent. And with Bronson, it's like, without that, like, it's not necessarily that he's bad on the mic, it's just that it's not his thing, you know? But I think with Gunther, I don't think Gunther's particularly great on the mic as well, but they've managed to figure out a way of making him this sort of huge, imposing presence, and having other people, having Ludwig specifically doing the promos for him, and Ludwig being his sort of mouthpiece, and just allowing Gunther to be Gunther in matches, sort of allows that sort of presence to happen. I don't know what that means for Bronson. Obviously, they've tried teaming him up with people in the past and making him like the big man to someone else, which is maybe the way to go. But then what happens when you let them loose? I don't know. We'll have to see. Hopefully it works out, because he's very good. And again, putting him in the ladder match would be very fun. Back from the ad break anyway. Shinsuke Nakamura and Bronson Reed. Bronson lays in a big forearm as we come back. Shinsuke avoids the splash in the corner, hits the kick on the back, stuns Bronson momentarily, jumps off. Nice jumping knee. 2 count. Ricochet, of course, is at ringside, sitting down on a chair, just watching it. Shinsuke with a headlock, trying to stop Bronson Reed from being able to do anything. He powers out. Ripcord power slam. Nicely done. There is Ricochet. Corey just distracting Ricochet with pictures of Trish Stratus. I mean, vibes, but you know. Oh, nice triangle from Nakamura. Nice triangle reversal. Bronson just muscles him up. And power bombs him down with the sit out. 2 count. Is that Sharon Osbourne behind Ricochet? Was I the only person who just saw Sharon Osbourne? Was that Sharon Osbourne? It wasn't Sharon Osbourne, but it felt a lot like Sharon Osbourne. The hair was very Sharon Osbourne. Big forearm from Bronson Reed knocks Shinsuke out of the ring. And now Bronson, on the apron, just runs towards him, jumps off and just barrels into Shinsuke. As Bronson lifts up his hands in celebration. Bronson trying to throw Shinsuke into Ricochet, who jumps and sort of catches him in the chair. Launches Ricochet into Bronson, does Ricochet. Shinsuke not super happy about it, having a little frank conversation. Bronson attacks him from behind. Regains control over Shinsuke, goes back into the ring. Although he doesn't, he comes back out and starts attacking Ricochet. Oof. Goes flying into the best steps, lower back first. Seems very painful. Shinsuke looking maybe for the Kinshasa. Bronson avoids, knocks Ricochet off the side apron. Big back suplex. Reed now looking like he could be about to get the win here. Drags Shinsuke to the corner, climbs up to the top rope. Big splash. Tsunami from Bronson gets the dub. And Bronson Reed getting a big dub over Shinsuke despite not being in the Money in the Bank match. Nice back suplex after the distraction from Ricochet. The tsunami splash from the top. Enough to get the dub. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to take that splash. I wouldn't want that. Cut to backstage as the Judgment Day are getting ready for their main event match. Finn, Damien, and Dom Dom versus Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. Finn Balor impossibly ripped. Annoyingly ripped, if we're being honest about it, as we go into an ad break. J-Day versus Cody, Sami, Kev. That should fit in the gap. I've realised a lot of these streams is just me doing admin in terms of like trying to figure out how to word things so it fits in the gap. There is annoyingly not a space between the ampersand and Sami. That was disgraceful for me. There we go. Okay. Where is this taking place? This is in... I don't remember where this is. I was going to say Chicago, but that's Dynamite. That's what Josh Jr. Right? It's Josh is smarter than I am. I don't know. Let me have a look. WWE is usually... That's their website. On the website. Oh, no. It's in Cincinnati, isn't it? It's in Ohio. Because Logan Paul came out and talked about being from Cincinnati, Ohio. Although I don't think he's from Cincinnati, but he is from Ohio. Pardon me. Pardon me again. My stomach's going mad right now. But yeah, Cincinnati, Ohio. I was right. But they are coming across next week to the United Kingdom, Wally. Friday night SmackDown next week, and then is at the O2 in London, and then the pay-per-view, which is on that Saturday, Money in the Bank, will also be in the O2 in London. So that's a vibe. That's a big vibe. I'm not going to either. I didn't get tickets. I'm fuming about that fact, but it is what it is. Where they're going in the build-up to that, do not remember. Ad breaks make me show feel... Yeah, I know. 30% wrestling show, 70% some food. Yeah, I know. That's why I really like the picture-in-picture stuff. And specifically, especially watching it on AEW Plus. I know we spoke about it, but it's so nice. Even if nothing is really happening in that match too much, when they are at ad break and it's just picture-in-picture... Even if nothing is really happening too much, it's still nice just to be able to watch it, and you can sort of turn your brain off a little bit to thinking what's going on precisely. But it's just quite nice as opposed to, you know, like say cutting to like, do you want some dog food? It's like, you know. It's annoying that we don't get picture-in-picture stuff with WWE, but what can you do? What can you do? We do get Simon Miller promoting WWE 2K, so it makes up for it a little bit. You know? Makes up for a little bit. We come back from the ad break. I just realised we might not actually be doing that match yet. I assume that's what's about to happen, but... We get the nice little slideshow they like doing for wherever they are. We're getting an update from Seth Rollins on his status after being attacked from Finn. He says he went to a local medical facility, although he doesn't use those exact words, to get scans on his ribs, but he doesn't care what the doctors say he will be at. Gold Rush tomorrow to face Bron Breakker. He says, as for Finn, there's the guy that beat him 7 years ago. Welcome back. Money in the Bank can't come soon enough. What else is on the card of Gold Rush? Because I haven't actually been paying that much attention. Oh, I think SCW did a preview of it. I should go and check out. Oh my god, yeah, of course. There's Wesley versus Tyler Bate. That's a thing I will want to watch. That's a thing I'd love to watch. Yeah, some okay matches, but that's the big one. Out comes Big Kev Dog for the main event. Raw next week is in Savannah, Georgia. I can't remember if I've heard that. I'm sure I've heard of Savannah, Georgia. I reckon there's a wrestler from Savannah, Georgia, because I feel like I've heard from Savannah, Georgia, but I don't know who. Out comes Sammy. Savannah, Georgia. Let's have a look at the Wikipedia page to see famous people from. Notable people. Notable people from Savannah, Georgia. What do you reckon they'd be in? Athletes. Athletes? Oh, someone who played for Aston Villa recently is born in Savannah, Georgia. That's a vibe. Can't see any wrestling ones. I feel like I know Savannah, Georgia for some reason. Or that could have been just something in history that my brain's kicking off about, given I did study history. It might be something there. Out comes Cody. Wrestling has one royal family, apparently. Don't know if you've heard. Or more than one, I should say. Yeah, I can't see anyone famous from there. Don't know. Savannah is on the East Coast. Lovely town. Quite picturesque. Ooh. See, it's Wally coming for a bit of knowledge. But then again, Wally, I suspect you've been there many a time. Out comes Rhodey. Rhodey? Rhodey? Here comes Rhodey Codes. Whoa. There we go. We can have fun. We have fun. We have fun. We have fun. Yes, I strongly agree with the getting rid of the tags. I will say, I think when they added the colours to them, it made them slightly better. I think the silver plates were better than the bronze plates. And I think it looks ever so slightly better, but like slightly better than awful is still not much, you know? I think they really do need something different. Cody giving his weight belt to a small child so she can start lifting weights. We're going to get a woe again. Bloody hell. Bloody hell, they give him a lot of they give him a lot of pyro, don't they? Yeah, the woe is great. The woe is very good. I'm surprised the woe hasn't been a thing the entire time he's used this theme song, to be honest. Like, I think it was maybe, it might have been a TikTok, it might have been a YouTube short, as we go to an advert once again. It might have been a YouTube short, it might have been a TikTok, I don't remember either way. I've actually got a TikTok account now, which is a vibe. A-Top Lad, follow it if you use TikTok. And someone was talking about just like the history of the woe and how it hasn't always happened, sort of thing. Can't remember who it was. I can't remember at all. It's just something that caught my eye. But I do just think, like, imagine like, how did that not blow up instantaneously? The Woe was so fun. I'll be trying to sing the full song. I know 98% is 95% song. I remember seeing Rey Mysterio. This was back when before he got re-signed by WWE, at a Rev Pro show at York Hall. Can't remember who he was facing. Summer Sizzler? It might have been Mighty Skull, you know. I can't remember who it was. And I remember, like, being one of the few people in my section who not knew all of the words, because I'm not going to claim to know all of the words of Booyaka Booyaka 619, Booyaka Booyaka Raymond Mysterious. But, like, being like, Booyaka Booyaka, and then he goes, that's my pueblo, in that bit. And, like, the people, they did not know that's my pueblo. They did not know that's my pueblo. So there was a distinctive me shouting that's my pueblo, and everyone else being like, Booyaka Booyaka. So, you know. Big Nasty doing Slim Fast adverts. Wild. I only ever see adverts during wrestling. During WWE specifically. I never watch television elsewhere where I actually see what adverts are going on at the moment. So whenever I see one where it's like, oh, Big Nasty's doing Slim Fast adverts, sure. It's just a bit mad to me. Ouch. A bit disconcerting, let's say. Ow, my chest hurts. It's just there's a dissonance in my brain as, again, I see Big Nasty doing a Slim Fast advert. It just feels, I mean, I guess this Big Nasty's career trajectory is doing stuff like that, but you know. Famous wrestlers from, I was going to say Georgia, but Georgia's, there's going to be tons. Will it tell me what town they're from? No, just give me a list. If I do this, will it tell me? No. Let's put Savannah, Georgia, see if it comes up. Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia. Okay, I can say I don't know any of these people. I remember Vordell Walker. Why do I remember Vordell Walker's name? Is he a WWE CW guy? I don't know why I know the name Vordell Walker. He doesn't seem to have made a big thing. No, there doesn't seem to be anyone that big from Savannah, Georgia. So I don't know why I knew who's Savannah, Georgia. There was a WWE house show there in 2022. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it was on like a... Maybe it was on like an episode. Maybe it was on like a WWE SmackDown vs. Raw or something. Like when you do the random towns. Maybe that's what it was. Goodness. What's the best sing-along song for wrestling? And why is it Kaznai Nae? Kaznai Nae. I'm trying to think what's the best sing-along, like, of all time. Because, like, at the moment, obviously Seth's is the big one. Like, obviously. But, like, full time? Don't know. Back from the ad break, we see the three men in the ring waiting for the arrival of Judgment Day. Big Nasty show apparently got canned by Channel 4. Did it? To be fair, I've never seen a single episode of it. I've seen clips of it, like, go viral and stuff. I've seen bits and pieces from it, but I've never actually sat down and watched an episode of Big Nasty's show. No offense to Mr. Nasty, of course. It's not a judgment on him. It's not a shot at him. I just, like I said, I didn't really watch that much television, so I never ended up watching it. Here are Judgment Day. Damo, Finn, Rhea, and Dom Dom. She'll get involved in this somehow, right? What if Raquel just come and attacked Rhea as she tried to get involved in this match? The numbers game always in favour of Judgment Day. Former world champion in several places, Finn. Former US champion, Damian Priest. Current women's world champion, Rhea Ripley. Dominic. Former jail inhabitant, Dominic. Is it prison or jail he technically went to? I don't know. I can never remember what the direct descriptions of these things is. I know one of them is like what you go to overnight, and the other one's like you actually get incarcerated properly. I don't know how that was. Judgment Day posing by the ring as they finally get in. Damian Priest's vest and very purple trouser combo. I've never noticed before. Don't know how I feel about it now. Yeah, that was wild. Finn actually wins the championship. Obviously gets injured during the match and then has to vacate it, but it was wild for a moment there. Match is starting off with Cody and Damian in the ring. Damian instantly tags in Dom, who turns around and tags straight back out for Finn. Classic. Classic. Finn and Cody begin the match. Low-key potential dream match. Those two, specifically. I think both of them in their prime. I mean, you'd argue Cody's in his prime in the last couple of years. Finn, I don't know when you would argue his prime is, but, you know. A potential dream match, these two. Cody catches Finn in the fireman's carry position. Drops to his knees. In comes Dom. Slaps Cody on the back and instantly runs away behind Rhea on the outside. Dom gets back into the ring, and as Cody turns towards to look at him, tags in Damian Priest. Cody leaving. In comes Sammy. Prime Lex Luger talk track. That would have been good. That would have been real good. Just hit the sort of thing that they do, you know? I was thinking about this yesterday. Do you know what I love? Do you know what's an underrated wrestling move? An airplane spin. I love an airplane spin. Tyler Bate used to have a beautiful one. But I love an airplane spin. Burst back elbow reversal by Sammy. Elbow drop from the top, gets a 1 count. I love an airplane spin. Rarely seen these days. Rarely seen these days. Big Olay chants coming from the crowd as Dom starts to work over Sammy. Fight back does Sammy straight away. Blows to the head, blows to the head. Little Eddie shake from Dom as he's looking for maybe the Three Amigos. Good reversal by Sammy into a suplex of his own. Yeah, this is the last match, Hassan. This is the main event tonight. Hope you're well, bro. The Lex selling noises included. Yeah, I realised I did it first and then I backed straight back out of them. But I did it at one point. As we go to an ad break, Judgment Day in control. Yeah, airplane spins are just underrated move. I love an airplane spin. Tyler Bate used to have a great one where he would do the airplane spin for ages and everyone would go mad and then would be sort of dizzy and sort of like squat down and then squat back up, still holding them, and an airplane spin in the opposite direction. And he could do it for ages. It was great. But, you know, don't get an airplane spin off. Has anyone ever had an airplane spin as a finisher? Airplane spin wrestling. Let's. Lots of people who've used it, but I want to know if it was their finisher. Also, this list is incomplete. It does not have Tyler Bate on it. Come on now. New Jack had an airplane spin, did he? Don't know, I can't see any. Can't see any without doing some deep research on it. When he gets a punch from an opponent, he shouts the loudest "whoa" and then ouch. Just mad. Who was I watching the other day who just was like, just unnecessarily vocal? In the best possible way. Oh, it was when we were watching Rampage and Juice. Thinking about Juice Robinson again and his just unnecessary vocals. Just, I love it so much. I love a ridiculous vocal, you know? Friend of mine who's trained to become a professional wrestler, I've told him this before. I'm like, when you get in the ring, just be really stupidly vocal. I love it, you know? I'm still thinking about that flipping Juice, aha! You know? MJF was great at it in the, I know a lot of people spoke about it, but the 4-way. The last pay-per-view, he was really great at it, but like, I just love an unnecessary sound. I mean, speaking of Marty Scott, obviously, you know, problems now, but there was, I went to see, there was, what show was it? I can't remember what promotion it was, but the main event was CCK. And I think at the time it was probably Chris. I think it was CCK, and I think it was Chris Brooks, Kid Lycos, and Travis Banks. I think versus Marty, Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay. I think. And there was a bit where Will gets tagged into the ring, and Marty's on the ring apron. And he's bouncing up and down, and he just, for some reason, it just cut through everything. He just screams, "Get him! Do something fucking mental!" Like, so super loud. And I always remember that. Can't remember what promotion it was. Can't remember what promotion it was at all. Maybe it was Will Ospreay. Might have been Will and Ryan Smiles' promotion. I can't remember the name of. We come back from the ad break. Judgment Day still in complete control of Sami Zayn. Tagging in and out. Big tag team combinations. Lots of quick movements. Balletic movements. Leg drop over the knee from Damien. 1, 2... 2 count. Sent me a sample of Lex Luger selling. Oh. Is this on Twitter? Let me have a look. Hang on, I'll watch it. I'll watch it after. The main event is kicking off. I just tried to listen to it and I heard mad amounts of cheering for Sammy trying to get the hot tag, so I'll watch it after. My stomach's going bananas right now. In comes Finn. Still on Sammy. Nice big chop from Finn. Zayn with the clothesline. Kevin firing up the crowd. We could be about to see Kevin Owens get tagged in. It needs to be listened to solely. That's what I mean. Yeah, I want to really, like, deeps it. Sami trying to fight his way to the side. Finn trying to grab him. Finn tags in Dom. So does Kevin. Crowd are going wild for this right now, by the way. Kevin Owens chasing Dom, who was walking to the back. Pent up throughout the entire day without being able to scream. Running full force into Dom. Dom being unable to stop him. Looking for the cannibal. Two. Tell you what, the crowd are into this. And it doesn't sound like the piped in crowd noises that we've seen in the past. This sounds actual, like legit. Kevin looking for the pop-up powerbomb. Doesn't realise Finn's being tagged in. Gets 2 count. Rhea just making sure Dom's okay. Fanning him. Something. Finn looking like he's setting up for a shotgun drop kick. Big super kick from Kevin. And now he could potentially get the hot tag towards Cody. Cody's begging to be tagged in. Big tag. In comes Damien with him. Big forearm drop down into the punch. Over the top goes Cody. Into a power slam. Not quite as good as his brothers, but still pretty nice. Nothing else to do in Ohio on Friday. Listen, I can't say what Ohio's Monday night life is like. Okay, you would know better than I. You would know better than I. I can't say anything. 2 count. Cody looking for maybe that Cody cutter. Or maybe a disaster kick. Rhea distracts. Damien captures him. Into a chokeslam. A huge sit-out chokeslam. Slice of heaven. 1, 2. Sami stops it. Sami stops it. In comes Dom. Sami throwing Dom over the top. Rhea catches him. Rhea squares up to Sami. She's on the apron. Sami sort of looking around at the crowd, asking what's he meant to do in this situation. Rhea still distracting Sami. Sami bounces off the ropes. Tope on here over the top of Rhea onto Dom on the outside. Cody cutter on Damien. 1, 2. Ooh, 2 count. 2 count. Good Cody cutter though. Straight on Damian Priest, the legal man. KO and Finn going at it on the outside. Cody watching get distracted. Roll up from Damien. 2 count. Big right hand. Stuns Cody. Looking for maybe a Cody cutter of his own. Cody reversing it. 2 count. Dom gets the break up. I just hope the London crowd can bring it when they come over from Vid last time. It's less than usual. Really? I don't remember that. I'm trying to remember what was... Clash of the Castle. I remember starting really hot. I don't know if it ended pretty hot, and obviously the end was a bit wild, but I remember it starting really hot. I suspect it will be good. O2 is one of those venues as well where it's obviously big, but it's like small enough to where it's not a stadium where the sound's going to go up. You can get really, really loud in there. Sami Zayn pops up, clotheslines Dom. Hell over kick. Throws him into Owens. Stunner. Goes flying, sells it like a champ. Go on, Dom. And now Cody. On to Damian Priest. Crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Good main event. Crowd really into it. Main event win from Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Cody getting the pin on Damian. Of course, before his match with Dom at the pay-per-view. Finn not getting pinned before his match at the pay-per-view as well. Clash was good before that, I meant. Yeah, I know you meant before that. I was just trying to remember, what could that seem like, trying to judge off Clash. Because it's interesting to me, because if Clash hadn't happened, then I'd be 100% confident it would be huge. Because obviously, we haven't had a pay-per-view in such a long time and everything else, but because of the pay-per-view literally last year, I'd be interested to see, but it must be good. Every time I think about Clash, I get a little bit annoyed because I was going to do a watch-along for it, and I made the thumbnail, and the thumbnail's incredible. And it's in the back end, it's just unlisted because I didn't have time to do it because of some stupid stuff that happened. Lots of action there. Crazy dude diving out of the ring. Yeah, Sami Zayn, man. He's very good. He can fly. He can fly good. Fun main event. Crowd were really into it in a huge way. And the show ends and goes off air. Judgment Day collecting themselves, licking their wounds as Cody, Sami and Kevin. Cody, Sami and Kevin stand tall. Good show. Good ending. Some times in the middle there where it sort of goes along, some stuff that was alright, whatever. But in general, good show. It keeps me interested for what's going to happen at Money in the Bank. Logan Paul obviously announcing to be in the Money in the Bank match. That match is shaping up to be really good. I'm sort of really interested in the Rhea and Raquel stuff. That's super interesting to me. I obviously it can't happen soon because we've got the Money in the Bank match. So you're going to see what happens there and everything else. But I'm really interested when that match goes down. Now, it piqued my interest a lot. Trish getting put into the Money in the Bank match is exciting. It is what it is, the way it happened, but it's good. Bronson Reed versus Shinsuke was pretty good. Overall, an alright show. Again, keeps me interested going forward. I'm intrigued for what happens on Friday. I'm really intrigued to see what happens. What are we going to get? Are we going to get Roman for a third week in a row? I highly doubt it. But Friday night, we will, of course, be here live on this very channel for the watch-along. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell notification button so you don't miss out on future videos and all that stuff. I'll be back on Wednesday as well. I'm going to do Dynamite on Wednesday. Then obviously Friday we'll do SmackDown. Saturday we'll do Collision. And Sunday we'll do Forbidden Door. Very, very busy. Very, very busy and very, very warm. Thanks for coming, Wally. I appreciate it, bro. It's good to speak to you. Good to see you. I hope you're well. Keeping up the. Listen, I'm trying something, Josh. I'm trying something. And like I said to you, it helps doing Raw and SmackDown's not as bad because it's only 2 hours, but Raw, especially on 3 hours, is quite a lot. And if I wasn't doing these, I would probably equally just be like. And so it keeps me interested as well, if we're being perfectly honest and frank about it. But there we go. There's the show. Like I said, I'll be back on Wednesday. I don't know what I'm going to do between then. But thank you all for watching. Thank you. Shout out Josh. Shout out Wally. Shout out Hassan. Shout out Ray, who rocked up for a while. Shout out to the Timeless Podcast, which is a channel we should all subscribe to. How dare you if you haven't already? What are you doing, bro? Get over there. Who else? I'm trying to remember who else came. Devin for a while. Ray, of course, and Sheamus. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. I shall see you all on Wednesday. But apart from that, enjoy the rest of your week. And yeah, good luck. Good luck with the heat if you're in the UK. Speak to you later, everyone. Bye.